Hello everyone, welcome to today's Truth or Scare commentary. I'm Brian Croydragon, and here we have Castle Ghosts of Scotland. This is one I most definitely remember. And without further ado, let's get started.
Scotland is a country with a mystical and ghostly past. Tales of bloody clan battles and family curses still resonate within the stones of its ancient castle walls. Ghosts lurking behind secret doors, waiting for just the right moment to reveal themselves, perhaps when we least expect it.
Nay.
These are the stories of Scotland. Supernatural tales of fierce loyalty, personal sacrifice, and cruelest betrayal. Have you ever wondered what they would say if the walls could talk? In Scotland, it is said sometimes they do. Phantom hammering in the dark of the night, moans of pain and loneliness emanating from hidden rooms, whispers of secrets around every corner. Duntroon Castle stands on the west coast of Scotland in the region of Argyll. It is a fortress built more than 800 years ago to guard the surrounding countryside against raiders from across the sea. Now a peaceful home, it was once the scene of bitter clan fighting. To this day, Duntroon is said to be haunted by the spirit of a lone piper, whose heroic deed and loyalty to his clan brought him to a gruesome end. The sound of Scottish pipes has haunted the castle for many years, summoning memories of Duntroon's brutal past. But it is not only the pipes that seem to haunt Duntroon. Furniture has been seen moving on its own, and objects have been known to hurl themselves at the walls. Clocks stop, and a horrible discovery has been unearthed from beneath the castle's stones.
It's Yorick! Yeah, that's,
To understand the hauntings
no.
at Duntroon, we must
I
return
apologize
to
for
its
that
violent
joke.
past. In the 1600s, Duntroon was owned by the powerful Campbell clan. The Scots were divided by civil war. The Campbells fought on the side of Parliament, and their mortal enemies, the MacDonalds, supported King Charles I. Hearing that most of the Campbells were away from Duntroon, Carl Keto, a MacDonald chieftain, took advantage of the situation and attacked the castle. When the MacDonalds had secured the castle, Keto sailed off to continue his campaign. He left behind a small garrison and his loyal piper to guard the castle. The Campbells were determined to retake their castle from the MacDonalds. In Keto's absence, they mounted a counterattack. Eventually, the Campbell clan recaptured Duntroon. Only one MacDonald was spared, the Piper. As privileged individuals, Pipers were protected. Imprisoned and surrounded by enemies, the Piper knew that his master would return to meet an almost certain death. The Piper scanned the horizon for his master's boat, desperate to find a way of warning him. At last, the Piper saw their boat on the horizon, and he did the only thing he could do to warn his master. He began to play his pipes. At first, Quito thought the Piper was playing a tune of welcome, but as he came closer, he heard the tune become more urgent. And understanding it was a warning to leave, he turned the boat around and sailed to safety. When the Campbells realized that there had been a message in the Piper's tune, they decided upon a punishment they felt would fit the crime. Brutally, they cut off his hands so he could play no more. The Piper died from his wounds. Those who thought the story to be merely a local myth were quite shocked when, in about 1880, a chilling discovery was made beneath the castle flagstone.
Hey, John, look at this.
What you found, Jamie? Look! Oh, how long has it been?
The workmen had found a skull, and when more stones had been removed, much to everyone's amazement, a full skeleton was revealed. Conspicuously missing his hands. At long last, the myth of the Duntroon Piper had been proven. A single standing stone marks the spot where the skeleton is said to have been buried. It is known only as the Piper's grave. But though he is nameless, his courageous act has immortalized him, the Piper of Duntroon, who, perhaps to this day, waits loyally at his post for his clan to return. Fyvie Castle, infamous for its fearsome
Five.
hauntings. When Truth or Scare returns. The Scots are a people with strong traditions. They have always held a deep respect for the unseen forces of nature and unexplained occurrences that have been part of their history from the dawn of memory. On the east side of Scotland, in the Grampian region north of Aberdeen, stands Fyvie Castle.
5.
Fyvie is steeped in mystery
5.
and strange, terrifying tales. It is a castle with a disturbed soul. It is said the ghost of a betrayed wife, the Green Lady, walks Fyvie's long corridors to this day.
Green Lady kind of makes me think
One
of
afternoon,
Narnia.
while totally alone in the castle tower,
The
an
Lady of the
alderman,
Green Kirtle.
skeptical of the supernatural, entered Fyvie's drawing room. As he stepped aside to let someone pass, he was quite startled when he realized no one was there. The Green Lady is thought to be the ghost of Dame Lilias Drummond. In the early 17th century, the owner of the castle was Alexander Seton, Lord Fyvie. He
5.
lived in the castle with his wife, Dame Lilias, but Seton was not happy with her.
Well, at least I got the name
He had 5
Seaton
daughters,
pronounced
but
correctly.
Lilias had not given him the son and heir he longed for. Relatives of Dame Lilias lived nearby, among them a beautiful young woman named Griselle. Seaton fell passionately in love with her. Suddenly, Dame Lilius was reported unwell, and within months, she passed away. Whispered rumors about how Lilius had died echoed around the castle. Seaton, they said, had locked his wife up in an upstairs room. Alone and without nourishment, Lilius perished. Only weeks after his wife's suspicious death, Seaton married Griselle. According to legend, however, Dame Lilius would soon return.
This freaked me out when I was a kid.
On their wedding night, Seaton and his new wife heard the sound of heavy sighing from outside the window. Seaton tried to calm Griselle's fears by telling her that it was only the wind. He opened the window and looked out, but the night was still. Seaton again assured his young bride that there was no need to worry.
Good night. Go to sleep.
But as the night wore on, the sounds coming from the window grew louder and more human, like the cries of a woman in despair. In the morning light, Griselle cautiously approached the window. What she saw next terrified the young girl. Something had been carved on the window ledge. In letters nearly 3 inches high and inscribed from the outside were the words D. Lilius Drummond. The words that perhaps were written by a ghostly hand remains there to this very day.
It's still a bit freaky.
The deadly curse that may still be afflicting people today are whispered of in the halls of 5e.
5.
When Truth or Scare returns. Ivy Castle was built 200
5.
years before Columbus came to America. Its ancient walls have weathered the centuries well, but along the way it has collected a history of betrayal and treachery, so intense that it seems even now to deeply affect the lives of those who dare to stay. Another ominous presence hangs over 5e Castle. It is known as the
5.
Curse of the Weeping Stones. More than 500 years ago, an ill-tempered prophet named Thomas the Rhymer, renowned for his gloomy predictions, announced he wanted to visit the castle. In anticipation of his arrival and to welcome him, the castle's great doors were left open. Years passed and Thomas had not come. Still, the door stood open. 7 years and a day after he had first announced his intention to visit the castle, Thomas arrived. Talk about fashionably late. But as he approached the entrance, a freak storm blew in, slamming the door in his face. Always quick to take offense, Thomas took this as a personal insult and cursed the castle and its lands.
Should have been there sooner.
The curse spoke of 3 stones taken from the boundary markers of the castle lands. Until all 3 stones were found and reunited, The firstborn sons of the families that lived at 5e would never inherit the castle. The alleged curse is so powerful that the one weeping stone that has been recovered still exerts an evil influence. Christopher Hartley came under the stone's spell when he was working on its conservation and display.
And it was strange that every time I seemed to be closely working with it, shortly after, something terrible happened to me. The first time, having worked very closely with the stone, I twisted my ankle, and so did the surveyor, who'd also seen it on the same occasion. The next time, I sprained my knee very badly, and the third time, when I put it into a showcase, I was rushed to hospital in the middle of the night with kidney stones. I don't like to look at the stone anymore or go too close to it at all. I try to avoid it if I can.
The weeping stone also has remarkable and unexplained physical properties, which explain its name. Although kept in dry conditions, in a wooden bowl, the stone actually weeps, filling the bowl with moisture. Is there really a curse on 5e Castle?
5.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. But there is one castle that is reputed to be more haunted and breathing with spirits than all others in Scotland. When Truther Scare returns. Scotland has many castles that some believe still contain living history. Spirits with unfinished stories, entities that have secrets to share, and beings that wish to stay in the homes where they were once happy. Glamis is the most infamous of the many Scottish castles reputed to be haunted. Glamis Castle has a mythical and certainly mystical reputation. The ghosts of Glamis are numerous and legendary. Phantoms have been reported in the castle for centuries. Many of these hauntings are focused on the bedroom known as the Blue Room. One account, recorded in the 1870s, described the event. A guest at the castle, the wife of the Archbishop of York, was staying in the Blue Room. She awoke feeling that something had brushed her face, but she couldn't see anyone in the room. A figure loomed over her, with a long, flowing beard and the face of a dead man. In 1454, Patrick, the first Lord Glamis, was said to have played host to an evil visitor at the castle. He was known for his love of gambling and often played cards with Earl Bearden of Crawford, so called because of his long, thick beard.
Looks like it's no going to be you.
The pair were playing together late one Saturday night when a servant entered and reminded them of the hour. It was nearly the Sabbath, and gambling was forbidden on the Lord's Day.
Wait, no bother me, man. Can you not see him in the middle of a game?
But the men ignored him and played on. But 5 minutes to midnight, the servant again entered and pointed out the time.
My lords, please, I beg you.
If we have a mind to, we shall play until doomsday, Earl Beardy roared. He would regret his words. On the stroke of midnight, the door opened. A mysterious stranger entered. The stranger sat down and placed a stake of sparkling rubies on the table. The three men started to play.
What ain't you then, man?
Lord Glamis and Earl Beardy soon got into a heated argument. The stranger watched. The sounds from the room became loud and furious, and the servant longed to enter and see what was happening. But as he approached the door, he reeled back in terror. The two gambling men were enveloped in flames. That night, the castle had entertained the one known to people of that time as the Prince of Darkness.
The devil?
Two men were condemned by the Dark Spirit to play until doomsday at the prize for gambling on the Sabbath. Do specters from another world coexist with us in this one, never intending to be seen by us at all? If we listen very carefully, might we hear voices or music drifting toward us from another time and place? In the ancient and magical land that is Scotland, some still believe they can.
Well, wasn't that something? I did a commentary on this long ago, but that was as a double feature with the Halloween episode. I wanted to give this its own video rather than being put in together with another. Honestly, the Green Lady is perhaps the scariest to me, because it's still, that moaning, sighing, whatever you want to do, it still gets my heart up, my nerves, all of it. I'm Brian Croydragon signing out. Stay straight.